ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ॐ नमस्ते अस्तु भगवन् विश्वेश्वराय महादेवाय त्र्यम्बकाय त्रिपुरान्तकाय त्रिकाग्निकालाय कालाग्निरुद्राय नीलकण्ठाय मृत्युञ्जयाय सर्वेश्वराय सदाशिवाय श्रीमन्महादेवाय नमः। Hari Om, salutations to all. So Nirvana Shatkam, we were doing the contemplation on that. Now we come to the fifth verse. I'm going to share the shlokas. न मृत्युर न शंका न मे jati bhedaha. In some versions we have, actually the better version is that na me mrityu shanka na me jati bheda. That's the correct version. I do not have any doubts and fear about death. Na me mrityu shanka na me jati bhedaha. I am beyond the distinctions of caste and creed. Pita naiva me naiva mata na janmaha. I am not born but through the father or the mother. I don't have a father or mother, nor do I have a birth. That's the literal meaning. Then, na bandhur na mitram gurur naiva shishyaha. There are no relatives, there are no friends. There is not even the relationship of guru and disciple. Chidananda Rupa, Shivoham, Shivoham. Pure consciousness, absolute bliss, and auspiciousness am I. So, na mrityur, na me mrityu shanka. There is no fear of death. The greatest fear one has is the fear of death. Because one thinks that death will be complete cessation of my existence. I will cease to exist. And I will lose whatever I have. And I will have to leave. And who knows whether heaven and hell is there, what will happen to me after death. So a lot of anxiety is there. Identified with the body, one doesn't want to drop it. So here, knowledge plays a very important role. When we have the clarity, then it is easier to overcome fear. And what is the knowledge? First of all, from the absolute standpoint, when we are talking here that I am that infinite consciousness, consciousness does not have any birth or death. That is the next line anyway, so we will come to that. But even at the relative level, it is not complete non-existence of mind, because I will never become non-existent. What happens at the time of death, that has to be understood. One part of the personality alone is dropped. The physical body is dropped. The Jivatma continues to go as per its karma to the newer realms, get the experiences as per its karma, take a new form as per the karma. So Jivatma does not die and Jivatma only travels. Atma or Paramatma by itself does not travel, it is infinite, it is everywhere. And so the Atma is imperishable, the Jivatma also continues. So if we ask the question, who died actually? The body is already dead, by itself it is Shava, it is 5 elements, it is inert. The Jivatma does not die, it moves ahead from one body to another. And so for us Hindus, there is no concept of rest in peace. So we should never say rest in peace. We believe in the cycle of karma, and as per the karma, one will go to appropriate realms and again take a new form. We believe in rebirth also. So there is no question of resting in peace and then rising on the day of judgment and then being given the judgment of heaven or hell. All that does not apply. So one continues, so Jivatma continues, and Paramatma or Supreme Self, the Atma is infinite, Sachidananda Swarup. It does not have any limitations of time, space, body, objects. So that anyway is imperishable, it does not die. So actually who died? No one died. If you think about it, it's a change of form. That's why the Gita says it is like dropping the old clothes and wearing new clothes. The old clothes does not mean that the body has to be old only. At whatever time the body dies, body drops. So many people wear some clothes nowadays only once and they say, I can't repeat. Like that, there are many people, many jivas who come for a very short time. Their karmas are over, they drop the body, take up another body. So it is a change of form. But infinite consciousness doesn't die, nor does the Jivatma. As long as Jivatma doesn't realize its infinite nature, it will go from one body to another. Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam. So Jivatma has a birth, Jivatma has a death. That's why in the Gita it is said that which is born has to die, and that which dies will be reborn. Jatasya hi dhruvam mrityuhu dhruvam janma mritasya cha. But the question is, am I born? The next line says, I am not born. That which is tangible, perishable, finite is born. Infinite is never born. And that's why Gurudev used to say that everybody dies, but no one dies. Meaning, every body dies, but the one truth in us doesn't die. So if we understand that very clearly and contemplate upon that, I am that infinite consciousness which is neither born, nor does it change, nor does it die. Because birth and death means that. Birth and death means change. What is death? It is cessation of prior, birth is cessation of prior non-existence, and death is cessation of posterior existence. That's all it is. The mud has the pot in it, but when the pot is born, the non-existence, the prior non-existence of the pot is removed when the pot comes into manifestation. And if you destroy the pot, the posterior existence of the pot, now the pot is no more, but the mud is still there. So birth and death, continuously samsara, that is change, and that will happen to the finite. Name mrityu shanka, there is no fear of death. Why? Because I am immortal. I am not born. That which is born will die. So if I say I am this body, then identification with that body will lead to fear of death. And so actually when we grieve, we are grieving for our attachments. When someone passes away, no doubt there is love. If there is love, there is the person's missing and we don't feel very happy about it. That is natural, but one will come out of that. If one is ignorant, then one continues to feel the sorrow and misery and devastation. So when one understands that actually the Jivatma went ahead because its work here got done, we may think it is unfair this Jivatma left so young and all that. 8 children Shantanu had. 7 children, as soon as they were born, Gangaji put them into the river. They died. Shantanu is grieving for all of them. But all of them were Vasus and they got a curse. So for a short while they had to be born on the earth. Go through the suffering in the womb, get into the physical body, and then get out of it. For us it is a pain. Oh, they died so small. But that Jivatma went through its karma and finished it. It is gone out. So same way, when one understands that I am not the body, body is anyway dead. I am not the Jivatma also which travels from one body to another based on the karma. I am the self that is a witness of the Jiva, the karmas, and what all it goes through. So if I disassociate from that and identify as the consciousness, Name Mrityu Shanka. There is no fear of death because I will never be dead. As the true self I, death is one change of the body. It is born, it is conceived, it is born, it grows, it becomes old, it decays, it dies. One of the changes of the body is death. Even Jivatma witnesses death, then what to talk of the infinite consciousness? There are so many people who have had out of body experiences, near death experiences. They ejected out of the body, they were declared dead, and they can see everything happening, and then they again get back into the body. Even as a Jivatma, one witnesses what is happening. What to talk about Atma as the infinite consciousness? So the more one thinks about death with the right understanding of Vedanta, one becomes fearless. Name Mrityu Shanka. Name Jati Bhedaha. I do not have distinctions of caste because again, Varna is actually based on gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas. That Varna Vyavastha became Jati Vyavastha. Varna was based on sattva, rajas, tamas. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra is not on the basis of birth. It is basis of the temperament. And as per the temperament, if one acts, then the existing vasanas one will exhaust. New vasanas one will not create. One purifies the mind. So it is not a psychological discrimination. It is a very good classification based on the aptitude, which even today people do or not. For a right job, we have to choose a right person. And how do you identify what is the aptitude of that person? What is the eligibility of that person? And then take them for that. Aptitude is different for each person, but our attitude towards everybody should be of equality, respect, love. There we don't discriminate that somebody is lesser and somebody is greater because of the varna into which they are born. All the 4 varnas are equal as far as Vedanta is concerned, Hindu culture is concerned. Name Jati Bheda. So Jati depends on the gunas, and a person is beyond the 3 gunas. The self is beyond the 3 gunas. And anyway, birth it does not depend upon. So Name Jati Bheda. It has a relative reality, it has importance that if one functions as per one's Swadharma, it will help. And that's why Bhagavan says Swadharme Nidhanam Shreyaha. It is better to die in one's own Swadharma than to copy someone else. And through each and every work, one can experience the divine. Purify the mind and experience the divine. So nothing is greater or lesser. If Krishna Bhagavan, the Lord of the universe, can become the charioteer and take Arjun through the whole battle, as well as ensure that he gives bath to the horses, removes their arrows, applies the medicine, massages their feet, then where is the question of any work being lesser or greater? The Bhagavan himself is doing the work of a charioteer. So nothing is lesser and no one is greater or lesser because of that. And this applies to the Jiva. One is saying, I am not the Jiva, I am infinite consciousness. So no Jati for consciousness. Pita naiva me naiva mata na janmaha. There is no father for me, there is no mother for me. I don't have a birth itself. So again, the body is born and biological birth is given by the father and the mother. One needs to be grateful towards them, have respect, serve them. But from standpoint of consciousness, there is no birth. Body is born and the parents have done a lot to give birth to this body, to nurture, nourish it, take care of it. So one does what one has to do as a duty. But what does Vedanta say? I am the infinite consciousness that doesn't have any birth. In Shivji's marriage, they ask him, the Panditji asks him, tell who is your father. He says, I am unborn. He said, no, you have to tell, this is a need. I have to fulfill the ritual. So you have to tell me who is your father. So he says, Brahmaji is my father. Who is the grandfather? He says, Vishnu Bhagwan is the grandfather. Who is Vishnu Bhagwan's father? He says, me. Very weird answer apparently. But that's the fact. Father, grandfather, one can go into the causes, but the ultimate cause is uncaused, unborn. Because if it is born, then who is the father of that? It will go on infinite regress, and infinity anyway cannot be born. So physical birth given by the parents, one remains grateful. But the purpose of the physical birth is to know the infinite unborn consciousness. And the father and mother, how much ever effort they have gone through, becomes fulfilled when a person realizes that there is no need to come back again into the womb, and realizes the truth and frees oneself from the cycle of birth and death. मरो मरो तो सब कहे मरना न जाने कोई एक बार ऐसा मरो वापस मरना ना होई. Kabir Daji said beautifully. Everybody keeps talking about death, but nobody knows how to die. Die once in such a way that you don't have to be born again. You don't have to die again. Meaning you don't have to be born again, so you will not die because you realize the unborn self. Na pita naiva me naiva mata na janma. No janma at all. That will be realized only when one understands the knowledge of the self, experiences that state, that it is ever free, it is unborn. So moksha is not freedom from cycle of birth and death actually in that sense. Moksha is to realize I was never born and there is only one infinite truth. Na bandhur, na mitram. No father, no mother, no relative, no friend. It does not mean that the consciousness is some, going through some insecurity and loneliness and feeling lonely. I don't have any relatives, I don't have any friends. There is no duality there. So there is no bandhu, there is no mitra. Chalo, at least Guru Shishya is there. No Guru and no Shishya also. So physical birth given by the father and mother, spiritual birth given by the teacher when the teacher initiates one into the mantra, whether it is Gayatri Mantra or Ishta Mantra, or Vedantic initiation into Mahavakya. Guru Naiva Shishya, the attitude that I am a disciple, he is my teacher or she is my teacher, is from disciple standpoint. From Guru standpoint, Guru sees everyone as Brahman, including the disciple. But the disciple keeps the attitude because one surrenders the ego at the altar of the Guru. And that Guru with whom one has tuned up, one has served, one has learned, one has asked the questions, the knowledge received from that Guru about the Mahavakya, about one's true nature, intuitively will destroy this ignorance. And one realizes the self in me is the self everywhere. In that highest state, no Guru, no Shishya, no Bandhu, no Mitra, no Mata, no Pita, nothing. But even such great masters who realize the truth, when they come in front of their guru, though they know the truth, they will still behave with great humility and surrender to the teacher. Guruna saha advaitam na kuryat. One should not assert Advaita in front of the Guru. Why? Because that Guru is one who made a person realize the infinite truth. And as long as there is a physical body, there is a prarabdha to be exhausted. The Guru also has a body prarabdha to be exhausted. This disciple also has. So at relative plane, there is some identification which is there, functional, but that goes on. And one appropriately behaves with the teacher. So this does not mean that one becomes rude, arrogant, say, what is the point? Teacher and me both are one and the same. How can he be greater? How can I be lesser? First of all, Guru Shishya does not mean greater or lesser. That is the mindset of the disciple if one thinks like that. That is a notion, wrong notion. One willingly surrenders to let go of the ego so that one realizes the truth. There is no greater and lesser. And so, indicating that bhav of humility, one surrenders, one serves, one asks questions, and through the satsang, one comes to know the truth. One can only be grateful. Whenever a disciple has realized the truth, one has been always grateful to the teacher because aneka janma samprapta karma bandha vidahine atma jnana pradhanena tasmai shri gurave namaha. So one salutes the teacher who freed one from the wrong notions of Jiva Bhav and the karmic bondage of so many lives by giving the right knowledge. So everyone can make a finite into a better finite. Guru transforms the finite to make the person realize the infinite. So in that highest state, no duality. No Guru, no Shishya, no Bandhu, no Mitra, no Mata, no Pita, nothing. One infinite truth. Chidananda Rupa, Shivoham, Shivoham. Now when we say this, Aham Shivaha, Aham Chidananda Rupaha, then what should one do? One should drop the words, one should drop the meaning of the words, and one should lift the mind to the state it indicates. Suppose somebody's name is Prakash and I say, Prakash, come here. Now what will that person do? Person will get up and come. But what has happened in that process? The word Prakash is dropped. The meaning Prakash means light is dropped. But the person says the word and the meaning indicate me. So I will go. So the I is associated with the state. Chidananda Rupa, I am pure consciousness. So the word consciousness is to be dropped. The meaning of the word, oh, consciousness means that which enlivens everything. That meaning also has to be dropped. But what is the state it is indicating? It is a state beyond the mind, which is unborn, which does not have any duality. That state one lifts the mind to. So it becomes aparoksha. One has to negate whatever the outer coverings are, like the word, the meaning, and take the inner state and say that I am that. Today I feel I am the body, so I am born, so one celebrates the birthdays. From Vedantic standpoint, it looks very contradictory. What is birth? And we are teaching unborn, and then one celebrates the birthday. Some people do it, they're Mahatmas, they are realized beings, for them everything is a Leela anyway. But for the others, as a seeker, it is very contradictory. So one removes all that false notion associated with I. I am body, I am born, I have father, I have mother, all relationships, and then they bind us. Those relationships are what one is bound by. So no relationships at all. Hence assertion, I am that consciousness which is one. So today we will meditate on this.